When the message came in, I was standing in the kitchen, holding 2 mugs of coffee, one for me, one for her. Business conference extended. Be home next week, Red Heart. It was 7:48 a.m. The coffee went cold in my hand before I even took a sip. She had already been gone for 5 days. Claire was supposed to return tonight, a Friday. I'd cleaned the house, stocked the fridge with her favorite almond milk, even ironed her favorite white blouse because I missed her, because I believed her. But as I stared at that text, something didn't sit right. Claire was a marketing executive. Business conferences weren't unusual. But this one, this leadership retreat in San Diego, had felt different from the start. The way she avoided eye contact when she packed. The way she locked her phone screen faster than usual. The way she told me not to bother calling because the schedule is crazy. I brushed off the unease, chalking it up to paranoia. After 12 years of marriage, you learn that trust isn't perfect, but it's what you hold on to when your mind starts whispering doubts. Yet that morning the whisper became a roar. Extend it, she said. Without explanation. Without apology for missing the weekend we'd planned. Our first one alone in months. Something was off. I tried to calm myself. I even dialed her once. It rang 3 times, then went to voicemail. Hey babe, I said, forcing a steady voice. Just got your text. Hope everything's okay. Call me when you can. I hung up, but the silence that followed was too heavy. Too deliberate. I called her colleague Tara, the one she mentioned she'd be sharing a hotel room with. It went straight to voicemail too. That was when something inside me shifted. Not anger, just this cold, methodical clarity. The kind that comes when you've ignored your instincts for too long. I opened my laptop, went to the email Claire had forwarded with her flight details last week. Flight 184, San Diego to Chicago, Friday at 9:15 p.m. A few clicks later, I was on the airline's website. I typed in the confirmation number. Cancelled. No rebooking. No updated itinerary. I just stared at the screen for a long time. By noon, I'd convinced myself there had to be a reasonable explanation. Maybe the conference organizers extended the event. Maybe she forgot to tell me about the new flight. But another part of me, the one that remembered her sudden gym trips, her mysterious client dinners, knew better. I had a friend who owed me a favor. Matt worked in a private security firm. He wasn't supposed to use their tools for personal reasons, but when I called him, I didn't have to explain much. I just need to know where she really is, I said. He was quiet for a few seconds. Send me her phone number. 2 hours later, he texted me back. Location: Seaside Resort, Laguna Beach. Checked in under her name. Room 418. Laguna Beach. Not San Diego. Not even close. My hand started to shake. I didn't tell anyone where I was going. I packed a bag, got in my car and drove. 8 hours of highway and silence, broken only by the occasional replay of her voicemail greeting. Every mile, I rehearsed what I might say when I saw her. Why Claire? Who is he? Or maybe nothing at all, just the truth written in my eyes. By the time I pulled into the resort parking lot, it was almost midnight. The ocean was a dark, endless stretch beyond the palm trees. I sat there, engine off, heart pounding, watching couples walk hand in hand under the yellow lights. And I thought this was us once. Inside, the lobby smelled like salt and lavender. I told the front desk clerk I was meeting my wife, Claire Bennett, in room 418. She smiled politely and handed me a key card without hesitation. When I reached the 4th floor, I stood outside her door for a long time, staring at the brass numbers, feeling the world tilt beneath me. Then I heard it, laughter. Her laughter. Soft, familiar, like a ghost of our happier years. A man's voice followed. Claire, come back to bed. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. My chest tightened and for a second I couldn't breathe. I could have walked away. I could have spared myself what came next. But I turned the handle instead. The door wasn't locked. The curtains were half open, moonlight spilling across the room. A half-empty bottle of champagne on the nightstand. Her shoes by the door. And there she was, wrapped in a hotel robe, hair still damp from the shower, sitting beside a man I'd never seen before. Maybe mid-30s, confident, shirtless, comfortable. Their eyes widened when they saw me. Daniel, oh my God! Claire gasped, scrambling to her feet. What are you doing here? What am I doing here? My voice came out calm, terrifyingly calm. You told me you were at a conference in San Diego. She froze, face pale, mouth open. The man, whoever he was, stepped forward. Look, man, maybe we should. Don't, I snapped. Don't say a word. The silence that followed was unbearable. Just the hum of the ocean outside and the sound of my pulse in my ears. Daniel, I can explain, she said, reaching for me. I stepped back. Explain? You texted me you'd be home next week. You canceled your flight. You lied to my face. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. I laughed, bitter, broken. You didn't mean for me to find out at all. She started crying then, saying it just happened, that she was confused, that our marriage hadn't been right for a long time. The man slipped quietly into the bathroom, leaving us alone. You could have talked to me, I said. My voice cracked. After everything we've been through, 12 years, Claire. 12 years of late bills, sick parents, moving 3 times, building a life from scratch. And this is how you end it. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I once knew, who used to fall asleep with her head on my chest, who cried when we lost our first pregnancy, who laughed too hard at stupid sitcoms. And all I saw was a stranger. You already did, I said. I left before dawn. Drove home in silence, the world blurring past me. She called once, twice, 20 times. I didn't answer. By the time I pulled into our driveway, the sun was rising, painting everything gold. The house we bought together, the swing she insisted we hang in the backyard, the life that no longer existed. I sat on the porch for hours, staring at the wedding ring on my finger, wondering how something that once felt eternal could feel so meaningless now. When she finally showed up 2 days later, suitcase in hand, I was waiting inside. I'm sorry, she said, her voice trembling. It was a mistake. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just handed her a folder. Inside were copies of the photos Matt had sent me from the resort. Proof. Evidence. Finality. Her face crumpled. You hired someone to? I needed the truth, I said quietly. You stopped giving it to me. She sank to the floor sobbing. But I couldn't feel pity anymore. Only exhaustion. Claire, I said, you made your choice. Now I have to make mine. The divorce papers came a month later. No drama, no screaming matches. Just silence where love used to live. People always say betrayal is like a knife to the heart. But it's not. It's slower. It's a rot that eats through the memories you thought were sacred. The laughter you thought was real. I kept thinking back to that text, those simple words that shattered everything. Business conference extended. Be home next week. I still have it on my phone. Not because I can't delete it, but because it reminds me of the moment I finally stopped pretending everything was fine. Months passed. The house felt emptier than ever. I'd wake up expecting to hear her humming in the kitchen, or find her shoes by the door, and the silence would crush me all over again. But pain, I learned, is just proof that you cared. Eventually, I started running again. Spent weekends with friends. Rediscovered the person I'd been before I started measuring my worth by someone else's love. One night, while sorting through old photos, I found one of us on our honeymoon. Standing on a beach in Mexico, holding hands, smiling like the world couldn't touch us. I almost threw it away. But instead I put it back. Because that moment was real. Even if what came after wasn't. A few months later, she texted again. I hope you're doing okay. I still think about us. I stared at it for a while, then typed back. I'm doing better than I thought I'd be. I hope you find what you were looking for. And for the first time in a long time, I meant it. I deleted her number after that. Not out of hate, but out of peace. Because sometimes the real closure isn't confrontation or revenge. It's learning to live again without needing the person who broke you.